Golden, MegaMogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. And today we are going to continue our Dark Horizon skin series as we're going to showcase a deck around Riven. I'm super grateful for this event just because it's in a way forced me to build decks around these specific champions, and I've gotten some really cool ideas in general. Like, I'm really happy with the Z deck that I showcased. I was really content with returning to Yasuo Swain as an archetype and super happy with the version that I shared with you guys yesterday. Check it out in case you haven't, because that video didn't do as well, but I think the deck it's less of an original concept, but it's a really strong deck in the meta. But today I got a spicy deck, man. It's got Riven, Lee Sin, and Swole Squirrel, aka Furry Grappler, in a deck that I like to call Furry no Jutsu, which is, this is like one of the coolest creations I've had in a while. It is a combo deck with Riven and Lee Sin. We are obviously showcasing the new skin from Cosmic Exile, Riven, which looks really neat, especially her pre-leveled animation. I really like this art specifically. It'll be the one on the thumbnail. And yeah, man, this deck is straight up fire. Let me explain what it's about. Basically, we're trying to lethal the opponent with Flurry of Fists. And we have several potential win conditions that can enable us to do so. The three main win conditions when it comes to units are, like I mentioned, Riven, Lee Sin, and Swole Squirrel. Swole Squirrel with Overwhelm and double attack means game over, quite simply. So I've modified this deck and optimized it to face as effectively as possible against the top meta decks, and that includes Irelia, Azir, Thresh, Nasus, and all these other decks running around. And we're also incorporating some very key healing that can help us against aggro as well. So because of the fast-paced nature of the meta, I'm not running Deny, but you can justify Deny as a one-off in this deck. I don't feel like it's necessary most of the time in this particular meta because Syncopation does that, or does what Deny does, for 2 mana at burst speed, which is really neat, right? So the deck has a lot of key components from the Reforged Curve. We have Blade Squire as a full set, Rune Weaver, and then of course Riven, and we're playing a full set of Weapon Hilt. Weapon Hilt is a card that translates into 2 potential spells, which allows us to work for Lee Sin's envelope really easily outside of a target shell. We have Spirit's Refuge, which can be used on our units to gain a little bit of health, buy some time, protect them from removal, and live against aggressive decks. And it can also be pretty funny against Irelia Azir with Swole Squirrel, and I got a game to set that as an example. We're also running some one-offs like Young Witch and Kato the Arm. Kato the Arm to give us Overwhelm in case we don't have the fragment for it, and the same is said for Young Witch. We're also playing Trifarian Glory Seeker because the quick attack mechanic can be really good onto this challenger that is one of the main ways that we can take down Azir early on, alongside a full set of Calling Strike. I've already explained why Calling Strike is so good in this meta. A full set of Notify is a must. There's just so much to counter with it, and I really focus most of my disruption in Notify instead of going with Deny. And for the most part, I've noticed the perks of that. And that's pretty much the deck list right there. We have a couple of copies of Concussive Palm to buy us a little bit of time against some attackers, and Deep Meditation for card draw. So the idea with this deck is you generally want to find Riven in the early game and some components of your early curve so you can fight for the board a little bit and try to push some damage here and there, but most of the damage will be dealt in your final turn. So you have to, it's a difficult deck to play. Like, that's why watching today's gameplay is going to be really important, because otherwise you may be frustrated playing a deck like this, because every minor mistake that you make can mean the difference between winning or losing. So you need to know how to sequence, how to manage your resources, and build up to make sure that you have enough mana to go all in the final turn. Also, something to keep in mind is that sometimes, depending on certain matchups, like for example Targon, you want to diversify your win cons. So you want to try to spread out and have 2 different threats developing. That's why Swole Squirrel can help out a lot alongside Lee Sin, because if you spread out and you give them 2 threats to answer, then that means that if they hush one, you can still win with the other one. And generally, when it comes to mulligans, like I mentioned, you got to keep your early game. Depending on the matchup, you want to keep Notify or not. And you have to try to make it so that you... Like I said, Riven is perhaps the most important keep because getting her to Reforge every time you get the attack token can enable deep meditation much easier. As sometimes you may not have enough components to set up the fragments. And you got to keep in mind that the fragments are focus speed. So knowing when to play them is super key. Going for the quick attack fragment without having Flurry of the Fist enabled is... risky, right? Most of the time you want to keep the card and you want to know when to go for these fragments. And like I said, a lot of these micro decisions really depend on the situation, so it's hard for me to like generalize them in a deck tech, but hopefully today's gameplay will explain how you have to play this deck as I showcase all sorts of different top tier meta matchups. I'm really proud of today's video, so if you guys want to support the channel, leaving a like is the best thing you can do, really. It helps out my videos, reach out to more people, and it makes me happy. So yeah, if you want to make me sad, then leave a dislike. I have some dedicated dislikers, but they're getting less and less numerous, so that's great to see. And yeah, love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, the ultimate test. Round 1. So we obviously want to keep Culling Strike. We have it for this matchup specifically. We want to drop Syncopation and Concussive Palm as well. Concussive Palm is not really that good here. I want to keep Riven. Not just for the looks, but because it is a very key 3-drop to have. As the earlier we can get Reforging, the better. Alright. There's the Emperor's Days on curve.
To serve the greater good.
Her art is sick. Her art is like, honestly, like Zed and Yasuo are pretty sick, but this is
Violence to end violence.
really neat. We're gonna attack. We're not gonna spend anything.
I must become the leader they need.
I'm gonna try to Culling Strike. They could have a Shapestone. They do. Alright. Well, we'll get it out of him, at least.
Shurima's legacy will endure.
And they
We
tapped the
Ionians
Azir.
always remember those who came before us.
It wouldn't have mattered because they have the counter anyways. So it really would not have mattered. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna be using Notify on this.
Destiny calls.
Yeah, nice.
Greater things await.
Come at me. Nice. Problem is they can have a follow through or something.
There's still much to answer for. No turning back now. The cost of war.
There it is.
Heart and blade, both broken. My heart weeps for every fallen ally.
A leader must see victory beyond each loss.
Looking for a daring escape?
Just thinking here. I can take whatever hit it is and I can just try to pack as much power as I can, right? It's overwhelmed, this and that.
looking back.
See what we see.
Let's go in. Get him, Riven! He's already played one homecoming.
Don't want any trouble.
I'm emoting because I'm all in. You've already played one homecoming, brother, and I know they only play one homecoming. Like, at least the net decks do. Let's get him. Ha ha! Got him! Got him, baby!
At last, a way forward.
Finally. Alright, test number 2. Thresh Nasus. I like keeping one calling strike to answer Thresh on a curve, but I think 2 is a bit too much here. Spirit's Refuge can help us buy a little bit of time in case our opponent happens to have a really strong curve against us, but we do have Blaze Squire, right? Blaze Squire can help us survive a little bit of their early onslaught, especially if they get like a turn 1 Ravenous Butcher, we can block into it effectively. The turn 1 Bakai Reaper gives us time. Why don't you? That's fearsome. What are you doing?
Finally, some action.
Trade? No? Alright. We use Blade Squire here to get some damage. Carry over the spell mana as we're gonna play Riven, which is a decent blocker here. The 3-4 stat line is really good.
Heart and blade both
Broken. I take the hit. No problem. Bum, bum, bum. Nah, that's more like it. Well, we know we're gonna be locking Blade Squire into Butcher.
Is that all you got?
You got it! You got it, buddy. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. There's a Vile Feast. Alright. Unfortunately, but unfortunate. English. But it is what it is. We have another one.
break the ties that bind.
And we have this Calling Strike ready for Thresh on curve.
See what we see.
We could Calling Strike to counter this, but we're not gonna do that because, like I said, this is too valuable to train to Thresh. They could already have Thresh in hand for all we know. Alright, so they're trying to spread out wide.
Extend your senses.
We're gonna play Lisa. 4 cards left.
Gotta find a gift for an action, right, Arda?
That's a bit annoying. But what are you gonna do?
We'll get our licks in.
Their heart
There's a flurry of the fists. Problem is we're still... We have to start clearing this board. We have to rely on Kato.
Strike firm. Center your spirit.
We stand in the footprints of paths long trodden.
Who gets tossed?
I'm gonna counter there because he could have a right of negation.
The dragon waits.
So if he draws Thresh and he plays him for 5, he has 4 mana for right of negation, which can counter our Culling Strike, and then we're in a predicament for sure.
We love it when they run. That's right. Run!
Sand and blood! I will not hold back.
Okay, no Black Spear, that's huge.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Let's go for it.
Dragon spirit awakens.
I'm just counting. I'm thinking about right of negation. I'm thinking about a lot of things, but we're gonna do this.
Prepare yourself.
I give you muscles! We're going for the attack. Oh, we just kill him. No need for Flurry of the Fist. Huzzah! There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Ionia endures.
Okay, so a more straightforward mid-range matchup. We need, like, Spirit's Refuge is actually low-key really need here. I also like Soul Squirrel because it's not like they have as many ways of dealing with it. I'm gonna drop the Weapon Hilt, actually. I'm gonna keep everything else, because like I said, Spirit's Refuge can be really strong. Notify can also be really useful. And I like Young Witch, even though Sharp Sight could be a thing. Yeah, maybe Young Witch is a bit suspect here, but we're gonna go for it. I like that Notify a lot. You can counter Whirling Death, single combat.
They're as good as dead.
You're adorable when you're angry.
When will I find peace?
My gun was the talking.
Yeah, he doesn't want Lucian to go down, because I'd willingly trade into that, for sure. I want to keep these Notifies, so I gotta wait with my Squirrel here a little bit.
Come on, Riv.
Spreading out there. I'm gonna play Soul Squirrel. Sorry, your fists. All right.
Yeah. Time to get rowdy.
Let me think here. So let me think. Next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 mana. 3. Going down to 3, 3 in that. That should be. Yeah, we can counter this. Yeah, because I was expecting a Relentless Pursuit there. Now we have the 3 components, which means it's time for some Furry Jutsu. Furry Jutsu! Quick attack.
Even a fragment snuffs out lives.
Overwhelm. This is 4 and we have that, yeah.
I won't look back.
Furry Jutsu!
Stand down.
Not enough!
Last, a way forward.
Ah, oh, glorious. All right, Irelia. Let's go with that. I mean, again, Soul Squirrel proved to be amazing there, so maybe we could just kind of like focus on that. Young Witch can be a good way to enable the quick attack, and all we need to do is find the... Yeah, I like this approach. Like, this deck struggles with the soulless of squirrels. And Syncopation can actually counter a Homecoming potentially as well. Like, Homecoming is the main counter they have, but they run it as a one-off, right? So they're not always gonna have it. Not a good block, but we do have Spirit's Refuge to help us survive, and Soul Squirrel can feed on these Sand Soldiers. Yeah, maybe there's a lot of things we could potentially do here.
Come on, Riv.
I mean, 1 damage can matter everything, right?
Everything's better with company.
See what we see.
Alright, we're definitely gonna have to block into that.
And punch.
Force is meaningless without skill.
The desert by my side.
Prepare yourself.
I could learn from watching you.
Shurima is sand and sky, past and present. You need not follow, but you will.
We have the Spirit's Refuge.
Azir's command.
With syncopation as well. But homecoming defeats us here. Oh, not exactly, because we actually have syncopation, so we do this. With Spirit's Refuge, we can do this and stay alive.
May my steps
I will not hold back.
showtime.
Okay, so we have to block with you.
Their heartbeats quicken.
Survive with 3. We have to not top deck a blade attack. Because we need 1 turn to give him overwhelm. K-Toe Clock! If it was one of these, you would have played it immediately. Oh, motherfucker, you got... No, wait. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, dude. That is the least deserved top deck I've ever seen. Oh my god, anything else? Because syncopation does... I can't counter it. Oh, that's the stupidest shit. Oh, that's the stupidest shit ever, man. Oh, that's tilting. Because I have syncopation, but... like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I lose the overwhelm. That's just the dumbest shit. What are you gonna do? My opponent was too good. Right, Zoe Vi. It's a pretty good deck that not a lot of people play, but it's really neat. I think I'm gonna drop the Young Witch for now. I'm gonna keep Nobify. I'm gonna drop 1 Riven as well. Nobify can definitely go a long way. I mean, Young Witch can technically block into Zoe, but if he leads off with Zoe, he'll probably open attack anyways. And Nobify can be really good because blocking thermogenic beams that are less than the 3 or less, mystic shots, etc., etc. All right, no turn 1 Zoe unless they top deck it now. Oh, we got a 1-drop.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in my boots.
Yeah, you're a turn late, buddy, but hey, better than nothing.
To serve the greater good.
We have syncopation now, so if he were to play like a thick thermogenic beam, If he blocks with her onto Riven,
Radiant blessing. Back, heretic.
alright. Oh, we got another Riven. Our syncopation is nullified, but we have that. Having another Riven is nice. Let's see what they discard.
One star's whipsy is another spark.
Yo, casket. Okay. I'm pass. I don't want to play this. And that's a thermal beam. I mean, I don't have anything, so.
Beware the dragons.
I'm gonna play Lee Sin. These two Nopifies are pretty neat in that regard.
I'm doing this my way.
The problem is Hush, right? That's the biggest issue. I'm thinking here, if he has Hush and I attack with that, he just completely blocks that, right? I'm gonna pass.
Gravity? Which side was upside again? Whichever way the paint drips, Zoe.
Justice firsthand! Trouble coming at ya!
That's new.
Taking all this damage is okay.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
I'm gonna syncopate.
I was born in battle
And now I'm gonna
raised
play
by
Riven.
war.
Now this is taking damage. I have ways to play around Hush. I do like the double, the soul squirrel. You could have an Equinox.
Riddle me something cool.
Which I can counter with Nopify. The problem is, like I said, the problem is playing around Hush. So we need to spread out.
I sense their power.
Prepare yourself. Lands need me. Center your spirit.
Hold still.
Threatening from different angles.
Here comes the punchline! Headed in!
Freeze. Let's do it over there.
Conflict is all in the mind.
Gonna go for this, gonna force out the Hush. Or just Nopify. And Nopify. Woo, no hush. That means no hush. Nice. That's why we want to keep Notify. Alright. We still have Syncopation.
Witness perfection.
Meat fangs.
Can you improve perfection?
If he has like Equinox onto this, then we can actually syncopate.
Prime and ready.
Give him access to both of these. Alright, so let's do things right. We have syncopation to counter stuff anyway, so let's go ahead and work on this. First of all, we don't need to buff this whole squirrel anymore.
I am reforged.
I fight with the dragon's fury.
We do this. We Blade of Exile.
Really just needed some tape to reassemble.
Can you improve perfection?
That's why we play 3 Notifies, ladies and gentlemen. Syncopation. And we're playing around Hush by creating 2 win conditions here. Going this here. Quick attack. To enable the Flurry of the Fist on both.
Lands need me. Prepare yourself.
Let's drag you because he cannot ping this himself. So now, even if he does have Hush on one of these 2, the other one we can Grand Flurry of the Fist and kill him. Or just knock him out this way. Booyah! Beautiful! Beautiful! God, this deck is fun. This deck is great.